Alright, excuse the noise. I'm here working on this 2006 PT Cruiser. And I got a PO88, sorry, yeah, 882, PO882, and a bunch of other codes that go with voltage. And sorry guys, I'm trying to work with one hand while I do all of this. Everybody goes into the TIPM and immediately starts blaming the TIPM. Look at your connectors. Make sure nobody's tampered with them. There are markings. But the other thing I want you guys to focus is right here. This gets loose from time to time of changing, not only vibration, because there is no lock nut underneath this. Okay, so this will loosen up after time. Okay, the other problem that these things suffer is the ground issues. And I don't know if you guys can see all these ground wires here. There's not enough light, but your ground is hooked up right here. And trust me, when you have a ground issues with these things will give you a whole bunch of codes. But always check the basics. Start with the cables, battery, 1, 2, before you go and you start, pricing out PCM and the TIPM, okay? You also got relays over here. You also got to take a look at. But start with the basics. Power connection, especially if it says low voltage. If you have low voltage, and I'm sorry if I'm screaming at the tablet, but if you have low voltage on this POS, and I call this a POS, even though this is my customer's car, she loves this car to death, but at the same time, this is a Generation 2 PT Cruiser, Gen 2, okay? And one of the biggest problems is ground issues, especially with this wiring harness coming to the PCM, which is right here. Okay, always double check these connectors. If these connectors are not seated properly and not fastened down properly, it will give you a low voltage. Okay, these cars need 13 volts going to the systems, even the transmission. It will put the transmission in limp mode and will give you a whole bunch of codes that has to do with low voltage and low current going to the transmission control unit, or transmission control modular is what it's called, PCM or TCM. Okay, your TCM is also hooked into your PCM. Okay, your power control modular is your TCM. Okay, and I'm not talking about traction control modular, I am talking about transmission control modular. Okay, when these cables loosen up, and you can move these cables like I have did. I'm on a test drive and I'm on my drive cycle, okay? You have to perform a drive cycle on this. So I tighten this all up. Let me put the hood down, and that way we can go inside the car and I can explain certain things to you. Look at some of my videos on how I get the codes without one of these scanners. And yeah, I am using a cheap scanner. It's a $5 scanner that I paid for at Walmart clearance. But this is with all Dodges. I'm gonna put the steering wheel like this. I want you guys to see. Let's see if you guys can see that and that right there. I want you guys, let me turn it this way so you guys can focus. I wish I had a little bit of shade so you guys can see the light. And then what am I doing? Okay, so here's the key. I'm gonna shut the vehicle off. And I'm going to turn it on to the display lights, okay? So you got all the Christmas tree lights on. Okay, without turning the engine over, you're going to back the key, 1, 2, 3. And it's going to give you a display. Your display number right there is going to go into dots. Let's see. Oh, and make sure you have the door closed when you do this shit, okay? 1, 2, 3. And you see that line? Keep the lights on. All the Christmas lights are going to go on. And you're going to see something that says, I am done. It is going to read all the codes that these cars have. And there it goes. It says, I'm done. I wish you guys can see what it says right there, and it goes back to your mileage, okay? Click the key 3 times. 1, 2, 3, like that, back to back. Don't make it lock, and when you pull back like this, and then you gotta have trouble. Push in, 1, 2, 3, and we'll give you that code right there. You see all those lines? If there's a PO code or there's any P codes, it will give you a number right behind it. If there's nothing done, it will say that it's done and it is clear. Okay? I'm going to move it back to the sideways angle. Many people, say, because we're doing this, and I'm doing this on the fly on the roads. All right? This is for any PT Cruiser out there. Generation 1, Generation 2. Double check everything. Start with the basics before you start throwing money at this POS. And again, I'm calling it a POS as a technician. I hate Dodges and I hate Fords. But this is an engineering standpoint, okay? I am certified, not only certified, but I have master degrees in engineering, mechanical engineering, okay? I used to work for a couple of dealerships before I went into the military, and I was working for General Dynamics. Again, I came out back to the real world, and this is what I'm dealing with, piece of shit cars that America is producing. And sorry if I'm getting, a little too attached to, calling Americans pieces of shit when they create vehicles like this, and it's because it's the money grab. Right away, everybody goes to YouTube, or goes to Google, and put in the PO codes, and right away you see a lot of misleading videos, okay? There are misleading videos that will make you spend your fucking money and throwing parts at this shit to find out it was a loose connection in the front, okay? I'm not charging the customer anything for this, because all I had to do was tighten up a 10mm bolt at the front of the battery. The person who exchanged the battery and did the battery for this, the roadside assistant company, they don't know how to clean terminals. That's number one, okay? When you put a new battery in, you have to clean the terminals. That's one. Clean the terminal lines. That's number two. Make sure that all the connections are snugged down and tightened down properly. That's number three. But these technicians, I can't even call them technicians, these employees that work for roadside assistants don't know anything about mechanics. That's number one. Okay? Number two, they're still getting paid, whether they do the job right or not. And they don't care if they put the battery in and they take off and you break down 2 minutes later. That's not their fault. They did their job, as they saw, or they going to claim. Customer had the battery changed, and that was one of the things I found loose, was that terminal, that side terminals that goes to the TIPM and powers up the TIPM. Okay, if you lose power to the TIPM and that TIPM does not have 13.5 volts or 13 volts inside of it, you're going to have issues, electronic issues. Lights are going to turn on, dim lights are going to happen in the front. You're going to go into limp mode immediately, which is you won't be able to get out of first gear. And for a lot of people, that's, really stressing. When you're on the freeway and you can only do 20 miles an hour, max. The computer will not let you go beyond that. It's a safety protocol, and it has to be programs, okay? A lot of people don't understand that TIPM, it is a part plug by play, okay? And then there's the other side that you have to go and turn on certain features. I can grab the same parts with the same part number from a donor vehicle and put it in this vehicle, and I have to program the window switch. I have to program the fog lights. I have to reprogram all of this that this vehicle came with. Because remember, the TIPM comes basic. The TIPM is already programmed for the basic use, which is just to turn the vehicle on. Is basic electronics. Basic electronics. That means that if you have AC, which is a plus, if you have horn, if you have fog lights, those are all accessories. And you have to go and turn them on in the computer. Okay? But this is for the high dollar scanners. Okay? We're talking about mid-grade to high-end scanners. Anything at the low end scanners are going to be just basics. Okay, they're going to come in different sizes, and I want to make sure you guys understand. This is my computer. I'm using the tablet to record this video. I'm trying to make it as clear as I can, but unfortunately, I guess something's broken or the lens under the camera is dirty. But anyway, this is a launch dingo, okay? This allows me to program any vehicle with an OBD2, and I'm able to play and adjust certain things, okay? But this is paying into the service, and it's not cheap, okay? You're looking at $199 per car maker, okay? And when I brought this, I got the options of 5 cars makers for the option of $150. Now you only get one option, and it's $100. Okay. This allows me to program certain things. But again, if you're looking at the basics and you have a basic scanner that's not going to lie to you, going to tell you low power, and it did tell me low power. It gave me a P0882 code, and it gave me a PO something, I can't remember the other codes, but it had to do with PCM and the lack of power to the PCM. Okay, when your PCM is starved from power, your car will go into limp mode. It doesn't care how much your scanner is and what you turn on and turn off. If that connection underneath the hood that I show you on top of the battery terminal is not properly fastened down, you're going to have issues. Okay, so during the drive cycle, sorry for the noise, I am at Pack Pride. As you guys can see, it is a Pack Pride gas station. I am in northern part of Sacramento. This is Mike with Pacific Tech. Okay, if you have any comments or any questions, leave them down below. I'm here to spread knowledge. I'm not here to, take your money. I'm not asking for your money. I'm not asking for thumbs down, thumbs ups. I'm sorry if, I said it backwards, thumbs down or thumbs up. I'm not here for likes. I'm not here for clickbaits. I'm not here for none of that. I'm here to spread knowledge because I'm tired of my people, Americans, getting ripped off because they lack the knowledge and shit like this. I'm sorry. This may offend a lot of people, but you learn how to drink, you learn how to smoke, you learn how to dance, you learn how to sing, but you haven't learned the stuff that you use on a daily basis. Your cell phone, your tablet, your computer, your car. Okay? Especially for a lot of the old people. Don't get scared because, you got all these Christmas lights on your car and your car went into limp mode. This customer thought that she had to replace the PCM. She had to replace the TIPM, that it was going to cost her big bucks just for the TIPM alone is about $1,500 at the dealership. Okay? This is a plug and play system that has to be adjusted with certain accessories that belong to this vehicle. Okay, you have to turn these accessories on with your tablet, your device, your scanner, whatever you're using to read the code or program this vehicle. And if you do not have a bi-directional scanner, game over. Okay, you may be able to clear the light. That TIPM, if it's giving you problem, yeah, you're going to clear it. You're going to go maybe 60 miles or 80 miles down the road, and that TIPM light is going to come right back on, and you're going to go into limp mode. Okay? I've been doing this since I was 12 years old, breaking down and engineering devices that we're using today. Okay, I'm an old dinosaur. Okay, take it from this old man who's ready to leave this world. Basics. Go back to the basics. Look at the basics. Except throwing money and high-end scanners at these cars. Go back to the basics. These cars are known to have ground issue problems, okay? Ground issue problems. And you saw how thin these wires are, okay? And there's multiple wires that are that thin making a ground. So you can upgrade your wires. You can downgrade. Well, that's what it is. Downgraded wires in these vehicles. For those who don't know what our earth wire is, this is a perfect example for an earth wire vehicle because it has ground issue problems. And all Dodges, anything made by Dodge or the Chrysler company and its sister companies, all suffer from the same issues because it's manufactured with a fatal flaw design. Okay, don't get me wrong. As an engineer, it is a fatal flaw for me. For you guys, it's perfect. Because again, we use our vehicles much different than you guys use your vehicles. Mine's is a workhorse. Every time my wheel rolls, money is rolling. I do roadside assistance out here in Northern California. I started my company in 2014, and to this day this company is still alive, helping a bunch of my American brothers and sisters not be gouged by high-end prices with wrong diagnosis. Okay, learn to properly diagnose vehicles. One of the key things as a technician that I excelled in is diagnostic. Okay, many people can't afford me, like the shops can't afford me, because my diagnostic level is much more higher. And this is what I work on, stuff like this. Big rigs, machineries like that, airplanes, boats. I fix any machinery made by man, okay? And there are machines that I reverse engineer from other countries so that this country can have lucrative. But again, I'm going to point down, I may edit some of the video. I usually don't like editing videos because I like to be honest about shit. You know, I don't want to cut, snip, or anything. And if I say something that is wrong, some people don't like it, they leave it down in the comments. But I do call Chrysler, again, a Chrysler vehicle, POS. Piece of shit, okay? Ford's followed right behind it. For farms on the road, dead, okay? For those who know, I used to own a 2016 Dodge Durango Citadel, and it left me on the roads because of a tipping problem. Okay, the fuel pump relay left, and the tipper wasn't working on the fuel pump side. They changed that out. My truck was working, but because of that incident, I sold my truck back to the dealership and got me something more Japanese, where even though I may not have the space, but at least I have confidence in the engine and transmission. Okay, right now I have no confidence in any American vehicle whatsoever, and this is me being honest as a technician. I'm trying to get my auto zoom to zoom in to, you know, perfectly zoom. But again, you know, these devices, they want to work when they want to work, and they don't want to work when they don't want to work. My issue is, I guess my screen is dirty. I probably got oil. This is my work tablet that I'm recording this on, and I am going to put this up on YouTube because I'm seeing too many people with not only PT Cruisers but with Dodges and every Chrysler, the Caravans, the Town and Country, the Neons, anything that's made by Dodge, all have a tipping problem. At one point or another, you're going to suffer from this problem. I guarantee you, and I put my money where my mouth is. And that's my challenge to my people. that you're going to have some type of tipping problem when you change your battery out. When people don't put things on properly, okay, you will have issues that this customer right now is having issues. The shop already quoted her a new PCM, okay, with a new TIPM, okay, and it wasn't even that, okay. I drove this vehicle past 100 miles to make sure that this vehicle, one way 100 miles, is going to reset itself and reprogram itself, even though I set it with the scanner to reprogram itself, and I programmed itself before I took off. But I want to make sure that once I return this car to the customer, that it is 100% out of limp mode and everything is working 100% properly. That's the way she got it. Okay. Stop throwing money at these vehicles that are not fixing the problem. Okay. Yeah, there is a ground issue. There is connection issues. Okay. And then there's the weakness of the TIPM. Okay. When the TIPM begins to go, you begin to experience this type of problem. And all TIPM have a lifespan. Okay. Remember, the TIPM is a plug and play to a certain degree for the basics, the general basics, okay? That means to start the vehicle, turn your lights on, and get going. You have to program certain things like the AC, certain things like your fog lights, because you can, again, like I stated before, you can go and grab a donor TIPM, and if you don't program it, your headlights, or your, excuse me, not your headlights, your fog lights will not work. Okay. Please, 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 every goddamn technician, start with the basics. This little bullshit computer, yeah, is going to point you in the right direction, but it's also going to give you clues of what you should be looking at first before you start messing around with the TIPM and the PCM or the TCM. Okay? Make sure that you understand what it's telling you and you understand what you should be looking for. I've seen many people, and I've seen multiple videos where people are telling the people to change the TIPM out and not realizing that the screw on the fastener to the battery is loose. And how many times have I asked, and many questions, if they check their battery terminals? Okay? Because if you lose power, and it's telling you that you lost power to the PCM, and you lost power to the transmission, and you're losing power to your instrument clusters, your headlights, it's telling you there is a short somewhere along the battery connection. Okay? Although these vehicles suffer from the grounds, but you're going to have one problem, not multiple cascading problems at the same time. If you have multiple cascading problems at the same time, start at the battery. Always go to the basic. Power, battery. Battery has to be 13.5 volts when it's on. 12 volts to get everything going. Okay? If it's below 12 volts, you're going to have a check engine light. It is going to throw a code. And those who don't know how to check their codes like this, and let's see. There it goes. Clear itself out, okay? So there is no more codes in this vehicle. Start it up. No check engine light. And put my seatbelt on and put the tablet down. Because here we have to use seat belts, because the boys in blue will start crying. Safety issues, and safety issues. And always remember, safety comes first. But okay, so here we are. I'm gonna get out. I'm still in first gear. Okay, one of the things that I like to do is I like to run the roads, and then I like to run the highway to make sure that everything's all cleared. Okay, you have to do it this way. When you're programming the TIPM, okay, the TIPM has to go all the way up to I think was 55 miles an hour, and then you have to let go of the accelerator and let it go to 40 miles an hour, and then do it again. You have to do this in 3 cycles back to back with each other to reprogram the TIPM properly. Okay, this is when you change certain sensors. All right, but this always have worked for me, and I have not strayed away from it, and I have never had a problem with a customer returning after I've done the reset and the reprogramming of the TIPM. Make sure that you're clear. And I usually like to do this when the freeway is clear. I am not on the freeway, I am on the city road, but I want you to take a look. I'm at 40 miles an hour. I had switched gears. Here goes the next gear switching. Okay, so everything has returned really back to normal again after I was done reprogramming everything. But you can see the dash lights. It is having a dash light issue problem, as you can see right there. And I went back into limp mode. Okay, so limp mode has been activated. Let me get off the street. And I got to see why limp mode is activating. PO code came back on, and let's go take a look at what happened. And we're going to look at why we have that check engine light back on. Okay, so it gave me 3 codes. I'm gonna go into the transmission, and let's go read the codes. So it's giving me a PO750 shift solenoid A. Okay, then we got a PO562 system voltage low. And then we have P507 again, and then we have a system voltage low. Okay. So somewhere along the line, the transmission is not receiving power. That means that somewhere along the connection, there is an issue. So let's take a look at what's going on and why this is dancing. And you can see it dancing. It is really dancing. So there is a short. There is an electrical short somewhere. This is why we always go back to the basics, and we're going to continue to go back to the basics because of what I've found. And that's it. This is what I'm talking about. See, ground issues, grounding issues. That is your voltage low. That's why we're having problems. Let's go and let's get this baby tightened down again. And as you can see, it's still dancing. So I'm going to take it out of limp mode. Okay, so let's try this again. Alright. I can't use this device so that I can program anything. Usually after I'm done clearing, I like to turn the key off, turn the key back on, and we will figure out what's going on. The lights are still flashing. Okay, so let's go. You see, I want you to pay attention. Waiting for that beep. Okay. So let's see if that did it. As you can see. So let's get you out. Put this seatbelt back on, so I don't want to get in trouble by the fuzz, because the fuzz right now is looking for money because of all this stimulus money that they had to give out to the people. Now they have to recuperate all that money back. And I don't want to get caught driving without a seatbelt. So we're gonna go. The light is off. I'm gonna take it back. We're gonna go and we're gonna tighten down that connector. But it is in limp mode. It will not shift gear. So let's go see what has been done.